Hello everyone, welcome out to the Dice Tower. My name's Chris Yi.
I'm Tom Vasel.
Today we're taking a look at this game, Books of Time from Board & Dice, a company that has made a ton of great games, and a bunch I don't really like. But they were on a weird streak for a little while, but this one interested me, the idea of having these little binder clips and actually having pages to flip through. You know, a gimmick's a gimmick, and sometimes there's a good one. So let's show you how it plays, and then we'll tell you our thoughts. Here's Books of Time set up on the table. This is a game in which players will be adding pages to these books, and these literally are books, 3-ring binders or 2-ring binders, that they'll be turning pages in to activate their effect, adding new pages from the offer into these books, and then advancing on tracks, scoring points. So this is a private area, this is a personal player area here with endgame scoring objectives, the area where they'll be holding pages to be added to their books, and the books, of course, themselves. This is the public offer where cards will be drawn from, the central board, tracks that each player can move up, and of course the public book over here, which players can activate. So what does a turn look like? Each player will do one of the actions as shown here on their player aid, a very useful player aid. All the actions on one side, all of the symbology of the game in the other. So they'll do one action per turn, and they will do one action from the Chronicle or from the public book here, and they can do that in either order. They can activate one of these 2 pages over here and then do a main action, or do a main action and then activate one of the 2 pages. So let's talk about the actions. First, activating pages, the thing that you might be doing the most often in this game. You will take a look at one of your books, the red, green, or the yellow book, and choose to activate the main action on both pages. So in this case, if I activated green, I would get these resources, pen and paper, plus a point. Then as I activate this one, I could choose to get rid of a card in my queue, in my personal waiting area, in order to get 2 more paper and a point. After you activate the page, you flip it, and then you have new pages available to you. The second action that you could choose to do is to write pages. You will pay the cost of the resources based on where the pages are available to you in your queue here. So if I paid these 3 pens, I could then add this particular page to my yellow book. They obviously have to correspond to the correct book. Now, this comes active, and so I could use this as an activate page action, readied and ready to go. The third action is to close a book. If I wanted to, I could choose to go backwards and close the front cover of this book, and what I would gain is I would gain any of these these bottom symbols here. These symbols typically are when you purchase a page and add it to your book, you'll get that bonus. This is something you can also reactivate by closing it to the front, and then you open it back up to the first page. The next action is to draw. I can take 2 cards, either from the offer or from the top of the deck. When I take cards, I then slide them in always from the left and refill. So if I took more cards in the future, these would slide over, therefore changing their cost that I would have to pay in order to add them to their respective books. Next, I can pay to advance up the track on the board, so let me show you that. Advancing up the tracks allows me to pay these resources to move markers up to that level. So a pen and a paper to move into the first level, 2 pens and a paper to move on to the second. You can do this multiple times, as well as adding pages from the offer to your book. You can do multiple times as well, as long as you have the resources to pay for it. When you move into an area, you gain all of the effects of that space, so maybe get a wild resource, a pen or paper, or you can choose to instead forego this bonus and instead upgrade your endgame objective of the matching color. So if I didn't want to take this file, I could remove this, making this a harder goal for me to accomplish. It requires one more symbol than this lower one. As you advance all the way up to the top here, you can unlock endgame points for the number of pages you have in the books of those particular colors. And if you advance further, you just get some basic resources. After every player has gone once, the last player will then flip the page of the Chronicle. This acts as the timer of the game and also gives new bonuses that each player can take with their free Chronicle event. But once this book has closed after 16 rounds, then that will mark the end of the game. Players will count up all the points that they've earned from cards during the game. They will then also get endgame scoring if they have pages in their respective books of colors that match these symbols. For example, I would like 2 red medical symbols and 2 equal of whether planetary, bacterial, or book symbols here. then I would score this many points. The last thing is that if you can score these things here if you're at the top of these tracks, and whoever has the most points is the winner of Books of Time.
So the main gimmick of this is the flipping of the pages,
right?
Which is not the first game I've done this. There's other games where you flip pages, but they're just turning a card. It gave me bad flashbacks to binders. When I was a student, my pages always ripped out of the binders, and then you put the little reinforcements. You ever do that? Put them on the pages?
The little paper circles. The what is it, like the planter wart stickers for paper?
And also, my mom was always like, use the things at the end to open the binders. If you pull it with the rings, which I always did, eventually they come apart and don't fit together. You don't have that here. I am a little concerned about the longevity, not of the rings. The rings actually are very good quality. Very good quality.
They're really thick, yeah.
I'm worried about the cards, putting them in and out, in and out, in and out. I feel like they might get beat up over a long term.
I suppose. This is the library copy. It's survived a few convention or two now.
That's true.
So these pages feel played and worn and everything, and they're not showing signs of ripping or anything like that. So I think that unless you play the mess out of this game, like if this is your #1 game of all time, and you have like weekly tournament nights, I think it'll last. Because that was my first concern too, was like the binder rings getting misaligned. That always happened to me in school, right? But I think that they work really well. And like you said, it prevents, like the other games have done like flip cards over. It keeps things in order. I think it has a nice little purpose to it. You're never going to flub your deck of cards. They even give you a bookmark.
Yes, which I almost never use, but I will say you said you'll never flub. You can flub, but then you know it's you. At one point I was like, these are all in order. They were in order. I know I put them in order. Well, obviously I didn't because the rings were closed.
Oh, you mean because like the yellow
I thought
books,
I had to pay, the yellow book, I need to have that in order. I was like, I know I did that right.
I need a camel
I
followed by a
clearly
boat.
didn't because of that. The other, and this is a minor complaint, and it's a board and dice specific one almost, because they do this in all their games. Please stop making 5-unit items in games that I'm almost never going to use them, because you spend the stuff in this game as fast as you get it almost. And just give me a few more ones of that item.
I think I disagree. There's plenty of ones, I think, to last, and then because you can accrue a lot of
15 paper.
I've had a lot of pens, particularly. I think,
pens. You have more pens.
Yeah, and because you can do things, you can build multiple cards into your books. You can go up the tracks multiple times. So sometimes you'll accrue a lot of them. So that's my thoughts. I'm glad that the resources look different from each other.
Yeah, there is that. Okay, I'm not going to complain about that. And I really like the fact that the file folder, which can be a wild, has the pen and paper on the back. That's very nice. Never use it for that purpose, but you can.
No, because there's so many other card effects that require a folder. You feel like a fool if you're like, it's a pen. You get a card later that you're like, no, I need a file folder to get like 4 points and add a page. I like the iconography in this game. I like that the player aid on the back of it shows all the icons, and one playthrough, they all make sense.
Okay, but this is where I have an issue with the game. Okay. And I don't know where this issue ultimately lands on being. So the rulebook's not terrible. The rulebook's fine. It teaches you how to play the game.
Yes.
But what the rulebook does not ever really explain to you is why you're doing what you're doing. You know, that even at the end, it's a little messy. You know, like, here you get a file folder. Why would I want a file folder? Here you can move up on the track and you can take the top thing off. Why do I want to do that? And they kind of explain it as they go through, but they're not particularly good at doing that. And because of that, I think almost anyone who plays this for the first time, unless someone is there to teach you and kind of say, hey, file folders are really valuable, like really valuable. Like there's cards where you can turn them in for 5 points. Keep that in mind. You don't know those cards exist. You know, you don't know all this stuff is there. So you're just kind of doing stuff and not sure why you're doing anything. And while the theme is really interesting, I love the theme of flipping books and history, the theme does nothing to progress that. Like, when I turn a page over and it says, okay, now turn in a piece of paper and 2 pens for 3 points. Why am I doing that? I just am. And I don't know the value of paper. I don't know the value of pens. I think they're equal. I'm not sure.
I think pens are a little more plentiful because they're on the left side of where you put cards in and then they scooch over towards paper, but fewer paper are required to build cards?
It's confusing, and the game doesn't make it less confusing. I don't know why, like the tracks make sense after using them for the first time, although there is some wonkiness of move up on this track, that lets me move up on this track. Okay, that's like draw a card and the card says draw another card. That's what that feels like. That's a little odd to me. Everything in the game is fun, but I felt the same way in this game that I felt in the roll and write from Garfield.
Hadrian's Wall.
Hadrian's Wall, where I'm like, ooh, I do this, and ooh, I get this, and I do this, and okay, your turn. I didn't get any points that turn, but I got some resources and I moved up a track. That's probably good, right? Right? And I think it's a gamer type game. It's like a Dominion type game for gamers. But I think for people who are new to it, they're like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to press button, do this, flip the card, and kind of see what happens.
There's some semblance of just stumble your way through several rounds until you're like, got it, this book does this for me. You know what I mean? It takes a bit to kind of form an identity. The science book doesn't feel scientific. The industry book doesn't feel industrial. But at some point, the cards you've added to those books will give them a bit of an identity. This is going to be my point engine, so I want to go through cards, then go back, and then be able to reset it and get these bonuses along the way. You know, but it's not readily apparent. I'll agree with you on that.
I think it's even enhanced though with that middle book, whatever that's called, the Book of Time or
Chronicle. Yeah, the Chronicle.
Since that's a randomly put together book, not only is it random the order, but it's also random what cards are in it or not. Mm-hmm. It's a free action you have.
So you don't love that?
No. It's fun.
It's fun. Yeah.
I want to be clear. I have fun playing this game.
I want to be clear. I have fun.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying. I don't want to come across as like I'm not being uber negative. Spoiler alert. I like the game, but I feel like I can't make long-term plans because I'll flip the thing and it'll be like sell a file folder. It's like, ooh, but I was saving that file folder for this, but then I'm not using this free action. There's always two, although sometimes one is like clearly, yeah, better than the other. If you have nothing else to do this.
Get 2 pens, okay.
Yeah, it's just that I feel like this is, to me, this game doesn't feel strategic with the exception of pick one of the books and try to get the pages for that book. Because I'll collect like 2 pages. I'm like, I'm going to fill this book up. Then we flip it, and they're like, get rid of a blue page. I'm sorry, a yellow page to do this. I'm like, wow.
Goodbye. I guess I really want 5 points. Yeah.
I wasn't doing that this turn. So I like the game. I just think it's tactical as all get out. I think it's not 100% spur of the moment. There's definitely plans. You definitely do things. I just don't know that I'm going to play any other way.
It's funny, I like the game as well, very much. People might believe me when I say it more than you at the moment. But I like it despite the fact that it does at first feel like it's a nebulous. You're not really sure what you're doing. And it's a game that for some reason, every time I look at it, I'm setting up to play it, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll play it again. And then by the end of it, I'm like, this was really fun. It's a weird thing that it almost keeps surprising me how fun it is.
Well, I think the process is better than if I was making it, I'm not going to top 10 games I don't want to teach at the end of the year. This might be one of them. Teaching the fact that when you move up on a track, you get the benefits, or you remove the top one of these objective tiles. That sounds very simple, and I have to keep explaining it. I'll be like, why am I taking the top one? Because you only score the top one. So then why wouldn't I take it up? Because if you don't, you get 0.
If you don't hit it, yeah.
If you don't hit it, you get 0. And you might want the benefits on the track. So you should probably also take these off very early in the game because the benefits get amazing as you go farther up the track.
Right.
That's just a lot of stuff to teach.
Unless you think that you're like 5th space on the green track, which rewards you for very specific things. If you don't think that you're going to get those, then maybe wait until later to forego that benefit to remove the green objective stack tile.
And then they also have things like flip a page in your book. Do the actions, flip a page. Or flip up to 1 page in each book, but this time you do the small actions. Or, and it's just a tough game to teach, I think.
It is, but all of those actions are good. Not everyone will be utilized every single game. I think the main action you do is activate both pages, flip it, right? Because those are kind of the best ones. But in some moments you might say, well, I know that there's juicy stuff on the next page of multiple books, so I'll just take these small benefits, flip a few pages.
Well, I've done that just because, or I can't do this page, or I'll flip a page. I'll do the flipping pages because I'm trying to insert a page. That's only the one book.
In the yellow book in a specific order, yeah.
I don't think the yellow. I also wonder the yellow book, the difficulty of putting those in order does not correspond with the point differential between the other ones. I'm not 100% sure on that.
They're the biggest points. The green book is the easiest to do, and it's worth the fewest points on the objectives.
Yes, I don't know that it's strong.
Yeah.
I guess that's what's keeping me from giving it a higher rating, is that I'm playing a game, I'm having a lot of fun, but I don't know that the values are clear to me. When I play games like Dominion and everything, I can tell you pretty strongly what the values of something is, to the point where I'll be like, that's, you know, when they make a change in the game, I'll go, oh, okay, that made sense. Here, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know the general values of things, because I'm going to lose 2 points to get these, and then spend those to get 5 points, and then do this to get a page, and then spend that page to get 5 points, and I think I came out ahead. But it's so much fun doing it,
right?
That I'll overlook that.
I think I do find a clearer picture of the arc of the game, the flow of the game than you do, and so I think, I don't know, it's. For me, it is a mix of, as you said, it's so fun to do the stuff, but also I feel like I am very conscientiously working towards things. You can't accomplish surprisingly that much in the game. You know, you can.
Oh, those pages finish really fast. You're like, oh, it's done?
Yeah, right. And so you're like, okay, how much do I focus and how much do I lean hard into this thing? Do I spread my love across the 3 books, or should I really just go big time into only red and sort of build up green and then just forget yellow?
I'm always going to play that way just because I can understand that better.
Sure. And I think that it gives you a satisfying amount of time to do stuff, but also it doesn't outstay its welcome where you feel like you've done everything and you're like, well, what else is there to do? You're always feeling like, I wish I could also get this. I wish I could also upgrade this and whatnot. So what do you think? Final score, final thoughts?
My final score is a 7. I like it, and I'll play it gladly. I don't want to necessarily be the one teaching it because I think there's a lot going on to it. I think the mechanisms are unique and interesting. I don't think the symbology is as clear as Chris said. I think that the paper looks too close to a page.
There's a little bit of that, sure.
A little bit. And just sometimes you're like, what? Oh, that's right, that's this. But it's a lot of interesting options, and it's fun to do. You get lots of resources. Sometimes you're like, I'm out of paper and pens. Next turn, you're like, never mind. Because you can get that stuff. There's various ways to do it. And you get the next, I don't know, you just feel like you're doing fun things every turn. And that makes me like the game. It's definitely a multiplayer solitaire with the exception of taking, you took the page, I want it, or whatever. But you're also, turns are pretty quick. They're not particularly long. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, overall, I find it enjoyable, and it felt different. So those are the things that make it go up for me.
I agree.
The other stuff keeps me from going real high with it. It's fun.
Right. I'm coming in at an 8 because I think that this is just a very solid and, as you said, unique thing. I'm glad that they kind of took this risk and did a weird thing with it, weird production, and had this big pedestal, which fits in the box, by the way. I appreciate that.
Yes, and in fact, I'm going to have Wendy glue it together.
I think that's the one downside of the production. Yeah, that thing that the Chronicle book sits on, the cover does pop off.
Well, no, not that. It's just that I know it was taken apart when I opened it up.
Oh.
Because I bet someone was like, I can't fit this in the box. You can, so I'm going to glue it so you can't.
In your face, convention attendee. No, I have so much fun with it. I really like the tactile experience of flipping those pages, but I also think that the game around it lives up to that gimmick. This is probably the game from Philip Glovox that I like the most.
It's 100% the one of his I like the most.
I shouldn't say probably. This is my favorite game of his.
Yes.
And yeah, an 8, that's a good score. I really enjoy Books of Time. So there you go. That's our thoughts on this one. Thanks for coming by, the Dice Tower. Until next time, my name is Chris Yi.
I'm Tom Vasel.
Have fun turning the page.
Read a book every day.
Like Bob Seger. I'll start it off.
Yeah, hang on one real quick. I was going to... Oh, okay, so there's not a theme. I was just checking.